guys, it's Mike Chen. I am in Los Angeles, San Gabriel Valley, the 626. My first time doing a video here. I just had a random free day in Los Angeles, and of course, I'm looking for a good place to eat. And according to my friends, Xi'an food, which is my favorite, and of course, my hometown, is really kicking it up a notch here with some great restaurants. So I figure, you know what? Let's go on a Xi'an food tour. The first place I'm going to is Shanghai Garden, and just from the pictures on the outside, I'm already getting hungry. First meal of the day, and I am so excited. The menu is pretty easy to read, a lot of selection, a lot of good pictures. Now, one thing I'm really excited about here is that they apparently have a dish that I've been craving ever since I left China, and I haven't had it since I left China. It's called 肉丸胡辣汤. And not only do they have the soup, they have the version I love, which is 肉丸胡辣汤, which it has meatballs inside the soup. I used to eat this every single day for breakfast in China, and I haven't had it since I left. That means I haven't had this dish in about 20 years, and I'm so excited. Hopefully it's as good as I remember in my mind. But yeah, let's start trying their Xi'an dishes. The two staple Xi'an dishes have come. 凉皮肉夹馍. First impression, 凉皮 has all the necessary ingredients. It has, of course, the noodles, cucumbers, sprouts, and the delicious gluten that soaks up all that nice juice. The pork bun, I'm already impressed with just from the outer appearance. Look at the amount of pork you get. That is the elixir of life, my friends. Oh, that's nice. Noodles, beautifully springy, seasoned very well. I feel like it needs a little more Chinese vinegar, so I'm gonna spray that on. Perfect. Noodles are glistening, they're slippery, they're chewy, then you got the nice crunch of the sprouts and cucumbers. That's magnificent. Gluten, of course, my favorite thing. And you can't really eat this dish without this dish. This is like love and marriage.
You can't have one without the other.
Okay. One is chewy, cold, spicy, vinegary. The other is warm, it's crusty, it's savory, it's fatty. Guys, right now, you're literally looking at the food version of relationship goals right here. And again, I made sure I asked if they put this much meat in every one of their pork burgers and not just mine. And they said they do. This is not just for me. Everybody gets this much meat. That I'm really happy about. Here we go. Do you hear the crunch? Let me get a little closer to you. This sandwich is just ridiculously fatty and juicy. I mean, look at this. Do you see that juice oozing out of that thing? Like I expected. You see how thin the bun is? It's supposed to be like this, and it's soft and tender on the inside, nice and crispy on the outside. This is a textbook example of how a delicious Xi'an pork bun should taste. And then if you pair it with this beautiful wheat lover, well, welcome to my eat. Like I said many times before, happy bite, happy life. And make sure when you're eating here, you're drinking hot tea, because there's a lot of fat in these dishes, and it's gonna congeal in your stomach. Make sure you drink your tea. This way you can take down more food. This is it. This is the dish I've been waiting for 20 years. It might not look great to some of you because it's like a big bowl of soup that you really can't see what's inside. And like I said, it's a very thick, almost gelatinous soup because there's so much starch in here. And inside, there's a ton of veggies, and you see these meatballs. So from appearance, this looked just like the soup I had in China. And guys, you need this soup in your life. Of course, I don't know how well this tastes yet, but so far, it passes the eyeball test. And what you do with this soup is they give you a bun, which they gave me, and you break this apart and you put it in here. And that's just how we eat the soup. Also, another interesting thing about this dish is that this is actually a halal dish, and it's primarily made by the Muslim population of Xi'an. So the meatball is actually lamb meatballs. And to eat this soup, you've got to have some hot oil. This is absolutely required. When they brought this soup out to me, they even told me, they said, put hot oil on it. That's why I love my fellow Xi'an people. I mean, we know each other so well, we get each other. Let's just load it up with hot oil, because that is the way this dish should be. Yeah. Break this apart, little pieces, and toss it into the soup. Not too small, I'm kind of failing right now. Stir that up. First bite, I need to have some bun, a little meatball. Welcome home. Oh, that tastes like what I had. Oh, okay. I'll tell you guys this right now. This may be a more acquired taste. I mean, is it as good as what I had over there? I don't think so, but it's darn close, and that's enough for me. And don't be afraid to load it up with pepper. This is what the soup is kind of known for, is peppery flavor. And this is white pepper, which is a lot more peppery than black pepper. Give that a nice mix. You guys know how much I used to love this dish. I didn't have a lot of money when I was in China, and I would save money from lunch and dinner just so I can have this dish every single morning. And the bowls were kind of like similar. It was kind of like this size of a bowl, and I would eat 2 bowls full of the soup with 2 of these buns that went with it. So this is by far the most nostalgic dish I've had because I haven't found a Xi'an place that even serves this dish. So I give mad props to this place for doing that. This is so awesome. What a fun walk down memory lane for me today. Last dish I'm trying here, the most popular dish in Xi'an, 羊肉泡馍. This is also another very popular halal dish. And already I can tell they got the right condiments. This is pickled garlic, so it tastes a little sweet, a little garlicky. This is perfect with the lamb soup. Hot sauce goes in, give that a nice mix. Because this soup is so fatty and sometimes a little lamby, this hot sauce does a great job of cutting down all that fat, and it's gonna make the flavor stand out even more. And as you can see, it has the little buns cut up, tofu, lamb chunks of lamb, rice noodles, which is something you'll always find in this dish, wood ear, some scallions. And nowadays you go, the buns is cut up really by a machine and you get that nice little cube. But the old-fashioned places, the really authentic places, they make you break these buns up on your own. And you're supposed to break it off just like a little piece, maybe about half the size of your fingernail, and that's the size you want. That goes in, and all that transforms into the beautiful thing you see here. Welcome to Xi'an. Wow, it's love at first kiss. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of my feeling when I took a bite of this. I mean, you can tell when a bowl of yang rou pao mo is good or not, is authentic or not, from that very first bite. And this right here, the little buns are chewy. You can tell it's lamb soup, but it's not gamey lamb soup. And this lamb, let me just explore this lamb a little bit. Look at this. This is big chunks of lamb. And look how tender this is. See how it just breaks off? Like I'm just like flip it and it just breaks off right there. This lamb needs a fragile sticker. Oh. Yeah, no teeth necessary. Then take a bite of the pickled garlic. Sweet, garlicky, a little sour, pickly, and then take a bite of this. A lot of places that serve this lamb soup don't even give you pickled garlic, which it really bothers me because you kind of almost need this. I mean, a cow can't survive without grass, right? The lamb soup needs the pickled garlic. So in conclusion, every single food item they have here is authentic, it's tasty, it's filling, and it just reminds me of home. But yeah, definitely can't go wrong with this place. Okay guys, on to location number 2. Location number 2, I am at Cindy's Noodle Land, and I ordered a lot of stuff. First thing we're gonna start off with is the iconic cold wheat noodles. Now, this one definitely looks a lot different than all the other liang peas I've had in the past, because this one, it looks very, very soupy and kind of watery. There's a lot of seasoning in here, and it almost kind of looks like a noodle soup, which is not. Also, this one, if you look at the noodles are extremely, extremely thin. That makes it look really good. Let's give this a try. It definitely has a lot of sesame sauce on here. This is really good. It is smothered with sesame sauce. And that just made the whole noodle so aromatic. I actually don't need to add any seasoning in here. This is seasoned right up my alley. It's vinegary. The spice level is, you know, uber. The noodles themselves, I am so digging this. Each strand is so saucy. Then of course the crunch of the cucumbers, the crunch of the sprouts, and the gluten are cut in nice big chunks. Favorite liang pi of the day so far. I mean, I only had 2, but my God, this is good. Of course, you can't have the liang pi without the pork burger. It has a good amount of pork like towards the front, but it seemed like not a lot of the pork sat in the back here. Let's see. It tastes pretty good. I like how thin the bun is. It does lack a little crisp factor. I love how fatty the meat is. I feel like the meat could be a little juicier, especially the lean parts, but the fatty chunks of this meat is just exceptional. I mean, they literally melt away, I guess, coating inside your mouth. And what's great about this and this right now is that there's so much sauce in here, it's great for dipping. Yeah, let's get it all in there. That was fantastic. All right, Chad. I wish the pork was a little juicier, but it is pretty tender. And with the sauce from the liang pi, it just becomes more aromatic because of the sesame. Really dig this liang pi. This, I think it's okay. I also got the brother of the pork burger, the lamb burger. And while the pork burger is fatty, it should be juicy, the lamb burger should be very spicy, very cuminy. There should be some spicy peppers. And again, it suffers the same thing like the pork burger. Like, where's the lamb back here? It's all like in the front of the class here. Huh, interesting. I'm kind of conflicted about this. It is very cuminy, which I love, and the spice level is up there. But for some reason, it tastes a little sweet. which is really a flavor profile that I don't kind of expect from this sandwich. I mean, don't get me wrong, it does taste good. Lamb is cooked well. I think it's very juicy, and I think it would be better with, you know, just more lamb. This is an old favorite of mine. 油泼面, biang biang noodles with some greens, some sprouts, and just covered in flash fried chili peppers and garlic. This is one of my all-time favorite dishes, and I wanted to see how well they make it here. Look at all that red. I am definitely team red. The noodles look very springy. Each piece is just gripping at the sauce, and the chili peppers look delicious. The chili peppers are like the perfect prom dress for these noodles. They put that on and they just glow. Oh my God, these are so good. I can taste a lot of chili peppers. Very spicy because these are freshly flash fried. Noodles are chewy. If you guys never tried biang biang noodles before, I'm telling you right now, and I 100% mean this, your life is not complete. At least your noodle life is not complete. Yes, we all have a noodle life, and it is not complete without this. Remember that soup this morning I was talking about that I haven't had in 20 years? Well, I found it again, but this is more like a subtle version. This is not what I like to have eaten in China. There's a lot of different versions of this soup. So the difference here, you don't see a lot of the vegetables you saw this morning. You can see bits of meat, peanuts, wood ear, tofu strains, rice noodles, and you'll notice that this is a lot less thick, a lot less slimy. In the rest of China, if you want a胡辣汤, this is what you typically see. Let's go. Once you add this, it's just gonna make the soup exponentially better. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. If you do like a really hearty, really warms you up on the inside kind of soup, this is perfect for a rainy day, for a snowy day, for any day. Just make sure you add the hot oil and vinegar. Finally, one of my favorite dishes growing up, 卤面. These are regular noodles, and they're steamed in a way that they're not soggy, they're not soft. These are actually extremely chewy, extremely al dente, and they're usually cooked with string beans, bits of pork, bits of bean sprouts for a nice crunch. You know what this tastes like? It tastes like home. This is essentially home in a bowl for me. Basically what happens is there's not a lot of moisture in these noodles, so they're extremely chewy. So they're a little greasy. They're covered in oil because otherwise, after they're steamed, they would just stick together. I feel like there's three parts to the addictiveness of these noodles. One is the oil. Another is in Chinese kogan. These have a lot of chew. I think even more than the belt noodles, the biang biang mian. And the three is the marinade. You put a big chopstick full in your mouth and slowly start to chew, and that flavor releases every single second until you reach absolute noodle euphoria. And just like the biang biang noodles I talked about earlier, this is another type of noodle that you don't find a lot outside of China. I've only seen this dish in a couple places I've been to. And if you guys really want some of the best Chinese noodles out there, this and this, you can't go wrong with that. All right, I just ate a lot of food. But let me ask you guys a very important question. Are you full? I mean, I'm sort of full. So do you think we should do one more? You think we should do one more? Okay, let's do one more. All right, let's go to location number 3. Location number 3, I'm at Xi'an Taste. I hope it's tasty. Again, got a lot of Xi'an dishes and a couple ones I haven't tried yet, so let's see how it is. First dish, we got the pork burger. And first impression, it definitely has a lot of pork in here. And it looks like the fat and lean meat ratio is pretty good. I like how thin all the buns I've had today were. I wasn't really expecting it to be this good, but this is a really good pork burger. This is the lamb burger. Now, this has a lot of onions, which is not in the traditional Xi'an lamb burger, but hey, you know what? Let's try it. I feel like the onions kind of take away from that spicy pepper flavor and also the cumin flavor a little bit because the onion flavor is a little too strong. So good, not my favorite. The liang pi looks very simple from the top. And let's see what's on the bottom here. This one, unlike the last one, is not very saucy at all. It's not very soupy at all. And the noodles themselves are a lot thicker. Wow, a lot of sprouts and a lot of gluten. All right, this liang pi, I feel like the flavoring is a little underwhelming. There's a lot of vinegar in here, but that's kind of all I taste. This is the first time I'm having skewers today. There is a big difference between like bamboo skewers and like metal skewers. Metal skewers, they're just better because it also really heats the meat up from the inside. The skewers in China, only ingredients you need, salt, chili pepper, some cumin, and this will be delicious. Just be careful when you eat it not to stab yourself. Oh, only pull one way, that way, out. Oh, this is excellent. Tender, lammy. And the great thing about cumin is that when you put it on and then you cook it a little bit, it has this beautiful smoky charred flavor. Cumin should be invited to every single barbecue in the history of mankind. They actually cook this really well. And I've had many skewers in my life, but I feel like this skewer in particular, this reminds me of what I had in China the most. And of course, I had to get the yopo mian, the biang biang noodles. And this one, I mean, they call it belt noodles, and you can see why right here. Look how thick this particular version of the noodles are. See all that oil and pepper just glistening, looking all beautiful, begging you to eat it. This looks fantastic. Look at that. You know what? I might just use this as a belt, and when I get hungry, just gnaw on it. Oh, right. The noodle itself is good. The texture is delicious, just like a biang biang noodle should be, but it is way over salted. And that's a shame because these noodles are really, really good. I mean, they're so beautiful and wide, but they're just so salty. Oh my God. Lamb soup with little buns. Of course, we have this, and I'm just gonna be lazy and just dump that whole thing in. I think it's medium soupy, which is, you know, okay amount of soupiness. And the lamb itself, oh, that is really tender. Look at that. My spoon is just crushing it, breaking it apart. That looks really good.
Not so bad.
No, I feel like they put a lot of the salt that was meant for this dish into my noodle dish. This one was kind of bland. I mean, I do get the lamby flavor to it. The lamb itself is good, but it's not all that flavorful. So this iconic Xi'an dish, I feel like, just average in this place. This is something I haven't got all day. And this is a really unique Xi'an dish. And they're basically just twisted knots of dough that is put into any kinds of soup. And I remember I used to love eating these in the winter because we would just dump hot oil, dump vinegar into it, and you would just eat a big steaming bowl of this soup. And then you walk outside in the snow and the snow just melts all around you. Okay, maybe not that much, but yeah, you still feel really warm. And you can really put anything you want in these soups. My parents used to put peanuts, pork, potatoes, carrots. This soup, it looks like, has a little bok choy, eggs, tofu, shredded noodles. I'm sorry, I picked this place because a lot of people said it was good, the reviews were good, but so far, a lot of the dishes have been pretty underwhelming. This dish, I feel like the dough themselves are okay, but the flavor is just very singular. It's very tomatoey, it's kind of watery. And that's about it. This soup, to me, it should be thicker, it should be way more flavorful, and this just isn't it. And of course, I added some more hot oil. Unfortunately, I think this is one meal hot oil didn't have any power to save. I mean, I wanted to like a lot of the stuff, but I feel like all the soup-based dishes here, they're just not flavorful enough. And then the noodles were good. I think they would have been really, really good if this wasn't over salted. But the one silver lining, and it's a big silver lining here, is the skewers. The skewers here are excellent. So if you ever come here, that should definitely be something you get. Well, not every place can be really good. And I actually chose this place because, like I mentioned, a lot of my friends recommended it. It got really good reviews, but maybe it was an off day for me. But of course, you know, I'm not gonna tell you it's good when it's not good. Of course, all this is just my own opinion, so I encourage you to try it for yourself and let me know what you think. Well, that's it. That's my third Xi'an meal of the day in Los Angeles. And I know there's a lot more Xi'an Shanxi places here, so that just means I gotta come back and do this again. All right, guys, as always, all the locations are listed for you in my description box. And until we eat again, I'll see you later.